Hey guys, Mr. Burns here with your video for, yes, the Unit 2 assessment, the Unit 2 test, okay, over the Pythagorean theorem. We are kind of in uncharted territory, uncharted waters, and kind of in an unprecedented situation. So I kind of thought that it would be nice of me to go over and go through some of the problems with you guys on this test. You guys will be responsible for finishing the problems that we don't do through this video, but I wanted to give you guys examples of how to do the problems and how to do the problems on this exam, okay, on this test. So let's take a look at number 2. Okay, excuse me. On number 2, it says, what is the value of x? Round to the nearest tenths if necessary. So in this case, all right, so good old Pythagoras, right? So good old Pythagoras and his theorem. So let's start off with that. So Pythagorean's theorem says a squared, and I'm going to choose a different color besides white. So I got a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And let's type in the values that we know, or plug in the values that we know. So we know one of the legs, that's 10, and we know the hypotenuse, which is 12. So a squared, so let's go ahead and say 10 squared, plus we don't know the other length of the other leg, so it's going to be x squared, equals the hypotenuse squared, which is 12 squared. All right, so let's go ahead and solve for the let's go ahead and solve for the length of the other leg. So 10 squared, or 10 times 10 is 100, plus x squared equals 12 squared, or 12 times 12, which is 144. All right, so let's go ahead and solve for x squared. We're going to subtract 100 from both sides, and we get x squared is equal to 144 minus 100, which is 44. At this point, and actually I'm going to erase that, and you'll see why here in a second. Because now we have to take the square root of both sides. A lot of you guys on your homework papers did not take the square root of both sides, all right? So taking the square root and squaring a number cancels out, so I'm left with x all by itself. Now, find the square root. So using your calculators, okay, find the square root of 44. So the square root of 44 is equal to 6.633. And then it says round to the nearest tenths place if necessary. So what number is in the tenths place? It is 6. It's the second 6. Look at the number to the right. It's less than 5. So the 6 stays the same. So x is approximately equal to, because we rounded it, 6.6. So what is my answer? My answer is B. Make sure you listen to what I say, you do what I do, and you show your work. All right, here we go. Number 4. All right, on number 4, you might need some scratch paper on this. Okay, so number 4, let me back up. You're going to need some scratch paper for number 4. So number 4, it says, which of the following side lengths could form a right triangle? Circle all that apply. So there might be more than one right answer. Okay, but like before, you're going to need Pythagorean theorem. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. All right, let's plug in for a. So we've got 3 squared plus 7 squared equals 10 squared. So 3 squared is 9, so 3 times 3 is 9, plus 7 squared, which is 7 times 7, that's 49. That's equal to 10 squared, so 10 squared is 10 times 10, or 100. 9 plus 49 is 58. And again, use a calculator, trust but verify. Okay, so does 58 equal 100? No, it does not. So guess what? A is not a possible answer. Let's go ahead and start off with let's check B. So B, you've got you've got a squared, Pythagorean's theorem, plus b squared equals c squared. Use it. So now we've got 4 squared plus 9 squared equals 10 squared. 4 squared, 4 times 4 is 16, plus 9 squared, which is 9 times 9, which is 81, equals 10 squared, which is 100. 17 plus 81 is 97. Is that equal to 100? No, it is not. So guess what? Oops. B is not a possible answer. All right, let's check out number C. Let's check out C. Not numbers, but let's check out C. So C says 5, 12, and 13. So we've got 5 squared. Oops. Choose a different color this time. So we've got 5 squared plus 12 squared, getting late, equals 13 squared. Okay, so 5 squared is 5 times 5, which is 25, plus 12 squared, which is 12 times 12, which is 144, equals 13 squared, which is 169. So 25 plus 144, I believe, is 169. Is that equal to 169? Yes, it is. So guess what? This, okay, fits. So those side lengths do equal a right triangle, or do form a right triangle. All right, next one. So we've got, for D, we've got 6, 8, and 10. So we've got 6 squared plus 8 squared equals 10 squared. So we've got 6 squared, which is 6 times 6, that's 36. Plus 8 squared, which is 8 times 8, or 64. Is that equal to 10 squared, which is 10 times 10, which is 100? So trust but verify. Use your calculator. 36 plus 64, I do believe, is 100. Trust but verify. Does it equal 100? Yes, it does. So guess what? Okay, C is a possible answer. All right. So again, do what I do, or listen to what I say. Do what I do, okay, and show your work. Trust but verify. Here we go, number 6. Okay, on number 6, it says, what is the length of sides of C on the graph below? So here we go. We got a right triangle. How do we know it's a right triangle? Because the two legs, okay, join to form a 90-degree angle. So what is the length of this leg? Okay, well, let me back up. We got A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So the length of this leg is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 4 squared plus, and what is the length of this side? Let's go 1, 2, 3 plus 3 squared is equal to, we don't know what the hypotenuse is, so that's what we're looking for. We're looking for C squared. All right, here we go. 4 squared, 4 times 4, 16, plus 3 squared, which is 3 times 3, that is 9, is equal to C squared. We don't know what that is. Okay, so choose one color. 16 plus 9 is 25, and that's equal to C squared. Let's get rid of the squared. So the opposite of squaring a number is finding its square root. Like I said before, some of you guys were not doing that, so that's why you got your problems wrong. Okay. So in this case, the square root of C squared is C, cancels out, right? And the square root of 25. So what number, when I multiply it to itself, equals 25? That is 5. And so what's the answer? A, B, C, or D? The answer is A, 5. All right, let's move on to part 2. Okay, so on part 2, these are constructed responses, all right? So it's going to be really important. Again, you listen to what I say, okay? You do what I do, and you show your work like I'm showing my work. So for number 1, it says, find the value of x in each right triangle. If necessary, round to the nearest tenths place. Okay, so since we're dealing with Pythagoras and his theorem, let's write it down. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Let's go ahead and fill in what we know. So the length of one of the legs is 6, so you got 6 squared, plus the length of the other leg, which is 12 squared, equals the hypotenuse. That's what we're looking for, C squared. So 6 squared, okay, or 6 times 6 is 36. 12 squared, okay, 12 squared is 144, so 12 times 12, again, trust but verify, equals C squared. So let's go ahead and simplify the left-hand side of our equation. So 36 plus 144, 36 plus 144 is 180, and that's equal to C squared. Okay, so let's find the value for c by taking the square root of both sides. Okay, so when we do that, we get c equals, and when I find the square root of 180, I get 13.41. So it says round to the nearest tenths place. So what number is in the tenths place? That is the 4. Oops. That is the 4. Let's look at the number to the right. It's less than 5, so the 4 stays the same. So x, number 1, is equal to 13.4. All right. Okay, let's take a look at number 3. On number 3, it says determine if each set of lengths will form a right triangle. Shade in the correct answer. So for for part A, so you got 6, 8, and 10. You got it, Pythagorean's theorem. So you might want to use some scratch paper on this one. So I'm going to expand my page out, and let's go ahead and get out some scratch paper, and let's work on number 3. Okay, so here we are on number 3. We've got A. We've got 6, 8, and 10. You got it, Pythagorean's theorem. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Oops. C squared. Plug in what we know. So we've got 6 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. Or I'm sorry, 10 squared. Okay, so we've got 6 times 6 squared, 6 times 6, 36. Plus 8 squared, which is 8 times 8, 64, equals 10 squared. 10 times 10, that's 100. So 36 plus 64, I get 100. Trust but verify. Does it equal 100? Yes, it does. So guess what? C is yes. Or I'm sorry, A is yes. So guess what? Color that in. Okay, B. On B, we've got 8, 9, 14. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So a squared, that's 8 squared, plus b squared, which is 9 squared, equals 14 squared. So 8 squared, 8 times 8, 64, plus 9 squared, which is 81, 9 times 9. And let's see, 14 squared. So if I go 14 squared, I get, not cubed, silly boy. So I've got 14 squared. That's 196. All right, so 64 plus 81 is 145, I believe. Is that equal to 196? No, it is not. Okay, so circle that. Circle. So go ahead and color that one in. Okay, last but definitely not least, okay, we've got C. So on C, we've got 4, 4.2, 5.8. So you're going to need a calculator on this one, guys. If you need one, get one. Here we go. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I get 4 squared plus 4.2 squared equals 5.8 squared. 4 squared, 4 times 4 is 16, plus 4.2 squared. When I go 4.2 squared, oops, nope. When I go 4.2 squared, I get 17.64. Okay, trust but verify. And then when I go 5.8 squared, I get 33.64. So when I go 16 plus 17.64, I get 33.64. Does that equal 33.64? Yes, it does. So guess what? Yes. Okay. It does form a right triangle. Okay, let's go ahead and look at number 5. Okay, on number 5, on these types of problems on concerning Pythagorean's theorem, I always like to draw pictures. You know, this is one time where you get to doodle on your paper and not get in trouble for it, kind of a thing, right? So number 5, it says Lyle leaves his home. Okay, there's his home. And he walks 7 blocks east. Okay, so 7 blocks east. And 9 blocks north. to the movie theater. How far is the movie theater from Lyle's home if he could take a direct path? If necessary, round to the nearest tens place. Okay, so that's your direct path. So that's your C. Okay, so again, you got it. Good old Pythagorean and his theorem. So we've got a squared, which is 7 squared, plus b squared, which is 9 squared, equals c squared. 7 squared, 7 times 7, 49. Plus 9 squared, 9 times 9, 81. Basic math facts, right? That's why we practice those. Equals c squared. All right. And we've got 49 plus 81. So 49 plus 81 is 130, I believe. That's equal to c squared. And then to find the value for c squared, we've got to take the square root of both sides. So I'm left with c equals the square root of 130. I get 11.40. And it says round to the nearest tens place if necessary. The number that's in the tens place is 4. I look at the number to the right, it's less than 5, so the 4 stays the same. So C is equal to 11.4. 11.4 what? Blocks. And that, guys, is my final answer. Again, trust but verify. Maybe I get it wrong. One of the kids from the other class said, hey, Mr. Burns, you got this wrong, you got this wrong. So if I do, let me know and I'll fix it. All right, last but definitely not least, number 7. Now, number 7, it says, graph the points and find the distance between each set of points. If necessary, round it to the nearest tenth place. Okay, number 7, here we go. Okay, on number 7, we're going to graph these points. Okay, and then connect the dots. So negative 3, 1. So from the origin, I'm going to go 3 to the left and 1 up and plot my first point. My second point has coordinates 2, negative 2. So from the origin, I'm going to go 2 to the right and 2 down. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and draw my lines in. So straight up, straight down, straight across. Connect the diagonals. Connect the diagonals. Connect the dots. Sorry, connect the diagonal. Connect the dots by drawing a diagonal. How about that? Okay, let's go ahead and label our sides. So from this point, I got 1, 2, 3. So a side length 3. Okay. Then from the second point, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So side length 5. So we got to find the hypotenuse, which is C. All right. You got it. Pythagorean's theorem. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A squared is 3 plus b squared is 5 equals c squared. We don't know. 3 squared, 3 times 3, that's 9. Plus 5 squared, which is 5 times 5, 25, equals c squared. So 9 plus 25 is 34. And that's equal to c squared. Okay, and then to find the value for c, we got to take the square root of both sides. And I'm left with c equals the square root of 34 is 5.83. But since we're rounding there's tenths place, what number's in the tenths place? That's the 8. I look at the number to the right, it's less than 5. So the 8 stays the same. So C is approximately equal to 5.8 because I rounded it. Okay, that's it. Those are the only problems I'm going to go over with you guys on this test. The rest of the test is yours. May the force be with you. Kumbaya. Fa la 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 la. Best of luck. That's all I got. Mr. Burns, out.